Hello everyone. Today we're going to be talking about Ryzen 3 from AMD. As you may know, they are about to hit the shelves July 27th, that is less than 2 weeks from today. They're coming out with a 1200 and a 1300X. The 1200 is going to be a 4-core 4-thread base clock at 3.1 GHz, boost clock of 3.4 GHz, and the 1300X is also a 4-core 4-thread CPU with a base clock of 3.5 GHz and a boost clock of 3.7 GHz. If I had to take a guess, I think the 1200 is going to go on sale for about $110 to $115, and the 1300X will probably be $130 to $135, and both of these will come with the Wraith stealth coolers. Once these two CPUs hit the shelves, the Ryzen lineup will be complete. Now let's take a quick look at this lineup. If you notice, I didn't include any of the X models, and the reason for that is once you overclock the Ryzen, the X models become irrelevant. So then we're left with 4 CPUs. A 4-core 4-thread CPU for $115, a 4-core 8-thread CPU for $165, a 6-core 12-thread CPU for $215, and an 8-core 16-thread CPU for $280. With the Ryzen 1200 being available for $110 to $115 with an included cooler, there really is no reason to buy a 2-core processor anymore, especially for a gaming PC. And having said that, let's go shopping. Our goal today is to build a budget PC with the latest technology available. At the low end, this is going to be a low-end budget PC, but very capable nonetheless. So we're going to pick the CPU, even though we don't see the Ryzen 3 here yet. It's going to be available July 27th, and I would choose the 1200 and overclock it and probably get the same performance as 1300X. Let's go ahead and pick a motherboard. If you watch my previous video, I mentioned the ASRock AB350M. It's a very capable micro ATX motherboard, especially for the price of $63. Yeah, you got that right. You can watch my previous video if you want to learn more about that motherboard, but it's a great budget motherboard. It will overclock your CPU and your RAM, so it's a great choice for the price. As for the RAM, we're going with DDR4 2400, sounds good. 2 sticks of 4 GB for a total of 8 GB of RAM, and that should do it really as far as the RAM goes. This Team Elite 8 GB of RAM looks good for $63. Add it to the cart, baby. For our graphics card, we're gonna go with a 1050 Ti because really we don't have any other options right now, pricing wise, availability wise. Nonetheless, 1050 Ti is going to be a very capable card in this build. It's going to pair really well with the Ryzen 3. Another option would have been the AMD RX 570 ITX cards. Those were also really cheap and definitely better than the 1050 Ti, but it is what it is right now, so we're sticking with the 1050. For the hard drive, we're going with the trusty Western Digital Blue 1 TB, 64 MB of cache. It's $50, reliable, and it goes into the cart. Moving on to the power supply, I want to get a 80+ certified power supply, and the reason I'm going with this thermal take is because I got the 600 watt version of this in my Ryzen 6 build. It's been extremely reliable. In this build we're going to go with the 500 watt version, and the reason for that is it's the same price as a 450 watt, and if you decide to upgrade your graphics card or your CPU in the future, 500 watts should hold you up. Lastly, we need a case to put all the stuff in. I'm going with a Rosewell case here. There are 3 reasons for it: price, durability, and this one comes with 2 fans. One in the front for intake, one in the back for exhaust. You can't really beat it for $29, and I'm sure it's going to last a while. I've had 3 Rosewell cases before. 2 of them are still here in use. They've been going strong for 5 years, plus they're really durable, and that's all I need from a case, really. That is it for the parts for this build. Let's go into the cart and see what the damage is. So we're at $399.94, let's say $400, and this cart doesn't have the Ryzen 3, obviously it's not available right now. Let's add $115, so the total comes to $515 for a brand new build with the latest technology, 1080p 60 frames per second gaming PC. I think that's a pretty good price considering what you're getting in this build. 8GB of RAM, DDR4, a capable motherboard that can overclock your CPU and your RAM, a pretty decent graphics card, $455, especially considering the state of graphic card market right now. And thanks for watching. Hopefully it was helpful to someone out there. See you next time.